Thanks, Adrian. Evening, everyone. The talk on the terraces at City was about winning it at Brighton. But whereas Manchester City are excited by the possibility of a coronation by the sea, Manchester United are worrying about being locked out of the crown jewels should they suffer a defeat here. Once the princes of the Premier League, now just members of the extended royal family. Manchester United's main task this season has been to restore pride. One trophy, 2 cup finals, and back at the big banquet that is the Champions League will do that. But there might be one last little challenge to their authority that they have to see off. Brighton pledge allegiance only to themselves and fancy a feast at that top table. They are having the best league season in their history. They have a regal home record, and if they win today, there is every chance that they will be going on their first state visit to Europe. Here's the team news. A few shift arounds, 4 changes for each. Brighton in blue and white stripes, some white shorts, white socks. Manchester United in red shirts, black shorts and black socks. Brighton start with Jason Steele in goal. Caicedo, we understand, is going to move into the right back position today. Adam Webster, Duncan, Estepinian make up the back 4. Buonanotte plays on the right side, Matoma on the left, McAllister, Gilmour, and then Enciso behind Danny Welbeck in attack. David De Gea is in goal for Manchester United. Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Shaw and Dalot the back 4. Casemiro will hold. Anthony, one of 4 changes. Fernandes, Fred and Rashford play behind Martial. Christian Eriksen left on the bench today because of some managing of the minutes. I think he can't really play 3 games in a week at this stage of the season. Andre Mariner is the referee. Dan Robotham and Natalie Aspinall are the 2 assistants. Natalie Aspinall, the 3rd female to officiate in the Premier League. The VAR is Andy Madley. The 4th official is Chris Kavanagh. Atmosphere is cracking, isn't it? They're full of anticipation of a big performance again tonight, Stuart.
Listen, Brighton have pushed the bar up for everything. Off the football pitch, how a football club should be run. Training facilities, match facilities, sensibility of boardroom and owner. Just incredible what they've got here, and level of expectancy from the team is up there as well.
Well, last night the King was crowned in Manchester. Record-breaking Haaland shot City back to the top. On Saturday, Sam Allardyce becomes the Grand Old Duke of Yorkshire. Game Day Live will come from Ellen Road to see how his men get on against the establishment. We've got live commentary from Spurs, West Ham, Forest, as we drift into Europe once again next week. There's so much football, you just don't want to turn your radio off because it is unmissable. Talksport, Stuart Pearce, former Forest captain and manager, is alongside me in Brighton tonight, and we're underway with Manchester United attacking the goal away to our left in the first half in those red shirts, and Bruno Fernandes just attempts to play the ball round the corner, just quickly up towards Anthony Martial. Doesn't quite work out for him, and it goes out towards the far side. Anthony progressing down the right side, back in the team today, gives him a different dimension.
Yeah, as I say, they've got a nice way about Brighton. I've always found it very, very difficult to line up against them tactically. They get this high numbers in the centre area of the pitch, boxes of 4, that type of thing.
Martial bending his run and trying to get into the penalty area away to our left-hand side. Doesn't quite manage to do that before Jason Steele comes to the perimeter of his penalty area. Jason Steele, who dislodged Robert Sanchez as the number 1 goalkeeper for Brighton, because Roberto De Zerbi says he just suits the way we want to play. And when these 2 met at Wembley, it was cagey. United sat off, didn't want to get sucked in. Brighton weren't at their best. It'll be fascinating to see what sort of game we get tonight. Fred wins the ball in midfield. Casemiro finds Fernandes, who slips it into the area. Anthony with the first shot on goal, steers it wide of the left-hand upright. It's a big let-off for Brighton, that. Quick, sharp start from Manchester United, who have looked at the races since the whistle blew 2 minutes ago. They were very quick off their mark there, and as the ball was won in midfield, Fred, Casemiro, and then Fernandes combining to set Anthony away, and he probably should have hit the target as he was played through on the edge of the area.
I've got to say, straight ball, diagonal run, bisected the Brighton back line, and you've got to score there, to be honest with you, Sam. To miss the target is a bit of a crime. Goalie's got to make the save, and Dunk, uncharacteristically there, giving the ball away a little bit loosely to Fred, but ball popped out for a goal kick.
2 minutes played, you're listening to Talksport, and it's Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Manchester United 0. Roberto De Zerbi standing on the touchline, has been under the weather a little bit over the course of the last 48 hours. He looks okay. Matoma coming forward for Brighton, quickly tries to release the ball towards the edge of the penalty area where Buonanotte was waiting for it. Went back to David De Gea. A few Brighton fans thought he was a little bit iffy with his feet there, but he found a crisp enough pass into the left full-back position and to Diego Dallo. Fred has it in midfield, pressing up on the halfway line. Brighton trying to win it back. Caicedo, who's playing at right back today, gets it back to Jason Steele, who then kicks high into the evening sky, the beautiful evening sky. The sloping roofs of this wonderful Bowl Amex Stadium in the middle of the Sussex countryside has got a wonderful backdrop to it tonight. This beautiful blue sky on a wonderful early summer's evening. Oh, mistake by Lindelof. He's giving it straight to the Matoma, edge of the area. Right-footed shot. Oh, he smacked it straight into the face of David De Gea, whose head has just made probably one of the saves of the season, stopping Brighton from going in front. They should be in front, and it's only because David De Gea took one full in the face. It might well have knocked him out, but they are not on the scoreboard. Stuart Pearce.
I've got to say, we're less than 4 minutes in now, and we've had two absolutely wonderful chances, one at each end, and give away on that occasion. We see it so often now in modern day football, teams trying to play out from the back, getting caught with the ball, and Matoma should have done better. He's ended up hitting the ball and caught De Gea looking at the replay right on the temple, and you and I are both suggesting that, I don't know whether it knocked him out cold, but with the concussion protocol, I wonder whether he'll be carrying on, Sam.
Yeah, well, obviously Manchester United will assess him now, and there might be a little bit of a delay as a result of that. Manchester United do have experienced goalkeepers available to them. Tom Heaton is one of their number, but not on the bench tonight. Jack Butland certainly is, and he will be out warming up now, way to our left-hand side, making sure that he goes through his preparations just in case he's required to take over from David De Gea. Now, Matoma might look back on that chance, as Anthony will look back on the one in the first 2 minutes and say, I should have done better there.
Well, there's no doubt he should have done better. Both players, I think, should have done better in the situations they're in. The only thing you can say with Matoma is hit the target. I think either side of the goalkeeper, that's in the back of the net. And as I say, I'll be astounded if he carries on.
He don't look great, does he? He looks very groggy. He's on the floor, away to our right, getting attention. Jack Butland is warming up. The Manchester United goalkeeper David De Gea, who took it full in the face, has gone level with Alex Stepney in 7th place on Manchester United's all-time appearance list tonight. And Jack Butland away to our left-hand side, just doing his laces up. Has been linked with a move to Scottish football in the summer. I actually was talking to a Scottish journalist about that very subject just last week, and he hasn't played too much for Manchester United since turning up. He hasn't even made his debut for the team yet. He's been an unused sub for 13 games. He hasn't played for Crystal Palace either, who he's on loan from, but he is going to come on here, I think, as he's getting stripped and ready for action. His last appearance was May 2022 against Everton. He broke his finger in the pre-season, and as a result of that became surplus to requirements down at Selhurst Park. David De Gea is bloodshot-eyed, red-faced. He's got to his feet now. Jack Butland is getting ready as if he's going to come on. I'm not sure whether or not the physios are convincing David De Gea that he has to be taken off, but because of the concussion protocols the way they are, to be able to sub him out without using a substitution, it's only prudent, isn't it?
Sam, these are probably the situations where, you know, if he carries on, there's going to be big question marks asked about the medical team, the protocol, all of those type of things. I think if he was an outfield player, the ball's hit him on the head, Sam, and he's gone down. He knows the ball's in the penalty box somewhere, but he's took no action to get himself up. I think he's sort of I wouldn't say unconscious, but certainly semi that way. And for him to carry on, I find it's quite incredible, really. But questions asked about the concussion protocol.
Well, and also, I mean, look, from a human point of view, and that's the most important thing, do you take a risk in this situation or do you not? Because it's a goalkeeper, it's such a crucial position, you tend not to want to make an early substitution, but sometimes it can actually cause you more harm than good, not only personally, and that is a big concern and the primary concern, but actually from a footballing point of view as well. Is it the right thing to do?
Well, it's difficult. You know, wild horses couldn't drag me off a pitch if I was injured or, you know, felt as though I could carry on. I was too scared to come off and think that in 15-20 minutes I was all right to carry on, so I never did, and probably come from a different era. But I've just seen an instance there that I think why concussion and the protocol was brought into the game, and the game's basically ignored it.
Should there be someone independent that is telling Manchester United they have to make a substitution?
Well, once again, that's really difficult. I've been at the sharp end, Sam, in teams, and I wouldn't want someone independent telling my medical team and me as a manager what should and shouldn't happen. Well, really difficult, but I think he should have left the pitch, if I'm being honest with you, on what I've seen.
8 minutes played, but only 5 have been really had the ball in action, and Manchester United have already got a doubt over their goalkeeper away to our right hand side. We'll keep an eye on it. It's back with Jason Steele away to our left hand side, and Manchester United just allowing Brighton to have the ball as they did in the Wembley semi-final. Those two centre-backs exchange passes quite a lot. Manchester United don't want to get sucked in to a pressing game where they can get beaten over the top or get played through easily.
I'm just looking at it's Billy Gilmour and McAllister at the base of Brighton's midfield, and they've just gone 2-on-2 with Fernandes and Fred, and Fred's got himself around McAllister. I don't know whether they've looked at that and thought, you know what, we need to nullify this boy tonight.
Well, 0-0 is the score. You're listening to Talksport, and already we've had a couple of big incidents, 2 big chances and serious injury to the goalkeeper David De Gea. Ball back on the edge of the penalty area by Estepinian to Jason Steele, invites a bit of pressure from Martial and clips it out towards the far side. Elegant pass, headed down by Estepinian, and then escaping was McAllister, but he's harassed and gets away with it. Welbeck up to halfway, Casemiro turns it over, and now Rashford races forward through the legs of Dunk, edge of the area, feeds Anthony, who cuts in on his left foot, then waits, gives it to Fernandes, who blasts it over the top of the crossbar.
Well, I've got to say, we have got a magnificently open game on our hands here. Two teams that in possession have been very, very intricate, cutting the opposition open, and when they've spread to play, if they've lost possession, either team, the opposition have been straight at them. And I'm just looking for the tactical nous as well of Dunk. Dunk's been quite happy to go from a centre-half position, squeezing all the way in midfield to go and pick up midfield players or strikers that have dropped deep.
Billy Gilmour, the youngster, on the ball inside the centre circle, clips it over the top for Estepinian to chase from left full-back into almost inside left position. Across goes Wan-Bissaka, wins that duel and sends it back into the 18-yard box where it's cleared away by Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw up to Fernandes. Fernandes up to Rashford. Rashford trying to get away from Caicedo. It's going to be a free kick on the halfway line. Here's a question for you. Caicedo playing at right back tonight.
Yeah.
How difficult is it when you're not in your natural position to go into one of those positions?
I find it very difficult, to be fair. You know, I think it'd probably be easier for someone like him to go right back than it probably will be for a full-back to go into the midfield slot. And I'm just seeing a lot of spaces here. You watch Dunk in free play, he's going all the way into midfield on occasion. Sometimes with Martial, sometimes he's stepping beyond him and going with Fred. But what that's doing is leaving a lot of space behind. They're almost 3v3 on the halfway line, spaced out right across the halfway line.
Well, Manchester United have started quite brightly, and certainly look at it. Referee has given a free kick over on the far side on Craig Mariner, and he's given that to Brighton and Hove Albion. And it's going to be a free kick which is quickly taken by Manchester United out towards the near side. Brighton not happy about the award of that free kick. Gallo plays it out towards the near side. He twists away from Buonadeke, and then it's won back by Billy Gilmour high up inside United territory, taken on by Enciso, who gets it away from Casemiro, then wins it back. Then David De Gea kicks it clear, and then Caicedo sends it back to the edge of the penalty area. It's a fast, open game in the opening 11 and a half minutes on Talksport. Caicedo tries to get there ahead of Rashford in the left wing position tonight. He's playing off the left this evening, Marcus Rashford, and it goes all the way through to Adam Webster at the heart of the Brighton defence.
I'll tell you what he's shown already, Caicedo. He's got an aptitude to read play, and he's also got the pace almost to match Rashford,
which might be important this evening. 12 minutes gone. Brighton will go 6 for the win, and above Tottenham and Aston Villa, here's Enciso out towards Matoma. Matoma inside the penalty area, cuts in on his right foot. He's allowed to wander, shoots it to the far corner and misses the upright by just a couple of centimetres. Lovely ball control and command from the Japanese international, who took the ball down, wandered infield, right-footed, and sent it towards the far post. Big chance that, his second big chance of the game.
It certainly was. When he weaved into the box, you could see players, they didn't want to go close to him, didn't want to commit to the foul in any way, shape or form, and he's done everything right, bar maybe offered it outside the post a little bit too much. I'll tell you what, teams playing out from the back is absolutely semi-suicide, I think. You know, now United might play through them and score now, but both teams happy to play out from the back. If you get your press right, you'll get chances.
Have a quick listen to Alan Brazil on the Sports Breakfast, and he will reiterate that quite often of a morning. When it works, it really, really works, doesn't it? And you look at Pep's team, and you look at the way Brighton do it and have done it for the most part of this season, it certainly can have huge benefits to the way that football has progressed over the last few years. But there is risk attached to it. It is at times a bit of a gamble, and both these teams have turned the ball over high up inside opposition territory at one time or another already tonight. We've only played 14 minutes. They've given the ball away again, Brighton, inside their own half. And Fred trying to win it back from McAllister, who's trying to turn in a tight area. Fred's chopped him. The referee has given a free kick eventually to Brighton, although it was delayed. It probably deserved a free kick, that.
Well, the thing is, it looked as though the referee was going to play on for one moment, then all of a sudden, when Brighton broke through the initial press and the foul, he blew his whistle. So it's certainly De Zerbi let the fourth official know about it.
He's got a habit of making sure that his voice is heard rather often. Roberto De Zerbi, he's had a couple of incidents with officials over the course of the season. 0-0 the score. You're listening to Talksport. Here's Dallo up towards the halfway line, turning it round the corner, and then it's cut out by Gilmour and sent all the way through to Jason Steele. Jack Butland certainly sat down now, and obviously they believe that David De Gea is okay. In fact, since that initial incident where he was knocked to the floor, that was 10 minutes ago, David De Gea has had nothing to do. He hasn't even seen the ball. I think he's kicked it twice.
Yeah, he's had a couple of clearances, that's been about it, but he certainly looks as though he's got his faculties about him now.
Here is Rashford, back to Luke Shaw, and once again David De Gea has the ball at his feet. You're listening to Talksport. It's 0-0 on a Wednesday night, and then Matoma putting pressure on Wan-Bissaka, who again just a little bit sloppy in possession. All cleared by De Gea, and then brilliantly touched by Martial into Anthony, one back by McAllister, the World Cup winner, and cleared to the far side. Ball out on the left with Matoma, the Japanese once again. What a great start to the game. Weaving one way, then the other, getting to the byline, standing up, Wan-Bissaka, taking him on for a third time, poking it towards the near post. It goes out in the way for a corner kick over on the far side. This is Talksport.
Sam, I've seen 15 minutes of football and I'm going to stick my neck out and say this is the best 15 minutes of a start of a game I've ever seen this season. The quality on show's absolutely brilliant. The cutting edge from both teams is that good. The pressing's really good and the tactical matchups are fantastic.
Well, they'll still have 2 games on Liverpool if they do go 6 tonight, Brighton, with a victory. Manchester United will go above Newcastle with a win, 1 point clear of the Toon. They're defending a corner kick on the far side, whipped in towards the near post. Up there is Webster with a header, and it's planted into the arms of David De Gea, who rises after it went into the ground and up high towards the crossbar. He immediately dispatched it upfield, looking for Anthony. Anthony's put pressure on Estepinian, who initially looked as if he was going to suffer a little bit, but recovered. And Anthony's slowly getting back to his feet. 0-0. Here is Lewis Dunk moving up towards the halfway line. Infield it goes to Danny Welbeck, who drops deep. Brighton aiming to win 3 league games in a row against Manchester United for the first time in their history. And before the last 2 wins that they racked up, they'd only ever won 3 of 17 in top flight competition against the Red Devils. But times are changing here at Brighton. This is a very different Brighton to the one that got to the cup final in 1983, 40 years ago. Here is Welbeck. That was their last great team. Lots of people, if you speak to Seagulls fans, will tell you this is the best they've ever seen in blue and white striped shirts. Caicedo into Enciso, and then back to Buonanotte, who tries to travel infield. Only made his first start at the weekend. Facundo Buonanotte of Argentina. He scored in that first start. He's 18 years and 129 days old. Carlos Tevez was his manager at Rosario, and he said he's the best I've seen since Lionel Messi. Well, right, you need that. Mitoma into the area, jinks past Wan-Bissaka, left the leg dangling out. Referee said no play on, and Manchester United swept the ball up the other end. And Rashford is powering away into the penalty area, played in by Fernandes. Rashford towards the near post, blocked by Caicedo, out for a corner. The referee's not very popular because he didn't give a penalty against Wan-Bissaka for his foul, perceived foul on Mitoma. What do you think, Stuart Pearce?
Yeah, to be fair, I think he should have been booked for diving. That's my personal opinion. Obviously, that particular element has gone out of football. It was a pathetic dive. I'm just watching it again. But until referees start doing something about that, then the game's never going to be cleared of that ill, I don't think. But once again, United swept the ball from one end to the other, and good recovery from Caicedo that managed to stop Rashford.
United have had 3 good chances so far in the game. It's 0-0. Brighton have had 1 very good one, almost knocked out David De Gea. Here's Fernandes, back to Shaw. Shaw now, 10 yards short of the penalty area, plays it square. It's picked up by Wan-Bissaka, work to the far side, in from Dalot to Anthony once again, and then out towards the right side, and Casemiro, who produces a cross into the box, still punches it, does well, the former Middlesbrough goalkeeper, and then a jump by Anthony, it goes over his head, but Fred wins it back once again, and then it's behind Rashford. A little touch by Fernandes, brilliant, gets away from Buonanotte, down in the left wing position. Rashford traces, and then it's Webster who plays out, Welbeck, and then it plays into midfield, and he can't keep it in, Buonanotte on this right hand side. Well, what a terrific game this is. It's non-stop, complete. I mean, I would say it's almost chaotic, but it's better than that because it's so much in terms of quality, the sharpness of pass, the speed of thought, the quickness of play, the high pressing. It's all worked so far. Martial trying to run in behind and off Webster, gets it back to Anthony into the side netting. He thinks he got a touch off Jason Steele as he dived to his right hand side. It was another well worked United move.
I'll tell you, the biggest shame that probably all the supporters and us in the media have got, that we're not privy to the tactical prelude that both teams have had leading into this game.
Yeah, we'd love to know what they were trying to do, and
exactly.
Then be able to say 10 out of 10 if that's the case.
Exactly, because what we're seeing at the moment, in my opinion, is footballing excellence in regard to the tactical matchups between the players, the intricacies of both teams, and everything that the game should be about is here on show. It's so good, this game.
Brighton playing around inside their 18-yard box, but doing it with precision, inviting pressure, almost giving the ball away. Then Jason Steele managing to get it out towards the far side. They play across their area to Webster and then bring the ball out with elegance up to Danny Welbeck, who's pressed by Luke Shaw, who's the centre-back, the left centre-back, and he's come 50 yards into the Brighton half, out of his position into the Brighton half to nab that back. He gives away a free kick. 21 gone, 0-0 somehow, 0-0. Here is Welbeck moving over halfway, out towards the right, and now Caicedo, who's a good 30 yards inside opposition territory. He plays it square to Gilmour, round the corner from McAllister, and then Bonanotte, who's had a lot of touches of the ball in the opening 21 minutes, sends it back, and it's picked up by Welbeck from a Webster header around the corner, looking for Caicedo, who's in behind Dallo, gets to the byline, being chased out to the corner of the penalty area, takes a deflection, goes to the 6-yard box. Wan-Bissaka reacted faster than anybody else before Bonanotte could get there, and it's cleared out on this near touchline away for a throw.
Well, you asked me how Caicedo would fare at right back. Well, he's actually the best fullback on the pitch at this moment in time, on what I'm seeing.
Well, I thought it's really interesting, you know, when we went to Wembley and we watched these two teams play one another, it wasn't really tight, cagey affair. There wasn't much expression in terms of this ability to play the ball out from the back, United pressing and then go and see what happens after that. There was a lot more sort of United stepping off, allowing Brighton to have the ball, not forcing the issue because they didn't want to get sucked in. But this is completely different, isn't it? It's almost as if they've gone back, rewatched that game and thought, right, okay, how can we improve on that, both of them?
That's exactly what both teams and both managers would have done. They would have analysed that game. I thought Brighton deserved to probably win the game over 90 minutes, my personal opinion, in the semi-final. But tonight there's two teams come out offering a very, very different type of game, and it's for us as neutrals, it's been magnificent.
Well, Manchester United away from home against the teams in the top 9. Their form is frightening. They've taken just 1 point from those games and conceded 27 goals. And that sort of suggests a softness on the road that Ten Hag wants to and has to sort out if they're to be competitors for the Premier League next season, which is his stated aim. But they haven't started too badly here, and they've had 3 good chances so far to open the scoring, but it remains 0-0. They have the ball now with Casemiro, who blindly played that forward, didn't find Rashford. Caicedo turns it over, Welbeck comes forward, but Casemiro does his job, intervenes, McAllister wins it back, Bruno Fernandes has his foot stamped on, didn't like that very much, it's played square, and now here's Estepinian, who moves up towards the edge of the United box. Wide on the left is the tricky Matoma, he goes on the outside to the byline, another good intervention from Wan-Bissaka, one of those huge, long, pipe cleaner legs, wraps itself around the Japanese, and Manchester United are away again. Tackled by Webster was well timed, beat Martial to the ball, and it's been turned away, and the Manchester United counter-attack has been thwarted, and Brighton have got the ball again, 10 yards in front of the centre circle. McAllister moves forward, plays it low and down to the left-hand side. Matoma with a cross this time, headed away by Shaw, headed further away by Fernandes, and then chested down by Martial and into Fred to Fernandes, and Manchester United are going forward again. Look at the run from Rashford, into out, and then he's gone over the top, and he's just trying to get on to the end of that, and almost did. It was laser guided, that pass forward from Bruno Fernandes, and if Rashford had got on the end of it, Steele had come to the edge of his penalty area and it was stranded.
I've got to say, when Fernandes picked the ball up, you thought, what's he going to do with this? The movement and the ball were absolute precision, bar maybe half an ounce of weight, I think, on the ball. Rashford's movement to go left and then spin right behind the central defender, and the ball was just magnificent and just a fraction too hard.
Well, Brighton are used to these fast starts. Usually they get on the score sheet. They've scored more goals than anyone else in the opening 15 minutes of games, but they could have conceded a goal in the opening 15 minutes of this game. Rashford now trying to pick out Martial. It's cleared away. Matoma picks it up. He's been brilliant so far. Casemiro gets there. And then Fernandes, edge of the centre circle, brings Wan-Bissaka into play. He gallops down the right-hand side. He's got support from Anthony. Plays it wide. Anthony waits, delivers a cross in towards the near post, and Dunk has to react and jettison his head out to push the ball behind and away for a corner, because Martial was coming in behind him into the penalty area to be a real threat. 0-0.
Well, I've not covered too many Brighton games this year, very few in fact, but I tell you what, these fans here, if this is the fare that's on offer every week, it's just magnificent, it really is, and I think United have played their part in fuelling that as well. Corner kick to be taken by Shaw over on the far side,
And Rashford is right on the edge of the D here, and no one's really paying too much attention to him. Shaw's cross is delivered in towards Casemiro with a header. It's only narrowly over the top. Well, he got up above his marker really well there, the Brazilian Casemiro, and he headed the ball with some force towards Jason Steele's goal, and it must have been less than a foot over the top of the crossbar.
Yeah, on first viewing I thought Jason Steele should have come with the loft on the ball, should have come and helped his back line out, but looking at it, there was too much curl on it away from him. He couldn't have got anywhere near it.
Brighton are a force to be reckoned with. Remember when they looked pretty but couldn't finish? Well, Roberto De Zerbi has sharpened the focus. He is only the 7th Premier League manager whose side have scored 50 or more goals in his first 25 games in charge. Not sure what that says about what went on before, but they certainly started to put the ball in the back of the net with more regularity. They haven't done that too much today. In fact, they've only really had one big chance since the opening few minutes. They've created half chances since then. Manchester United have had the better ones, but it remains 0-0, 27 gone. Brighton have looked a threat, so have Manchester United. Both so far have been defensively okay. 0-0.
Just looking at these two, Webster and Dunk, they've been absolute colossuses for many years, haven't they, for Brighton, and they're probably playing as well as they ever have done. I think Dunk's been certainly magnificent this year.
Started the last 45 Premier League games, Lewis Dunk. Alan Webster has played in the top 5 divisions in England and played at Wembley for his club as well since his £20 million move from Bristol City. So he's had some experience up and down the leagues before he got here, and he's had some experiences since he's been here, and he may be going on a European tour. Ball up towards Fred, who's inside the Brighton half of the field. It's swept by Fernandes out towards the wide left, and Rashford takes on Caicedo, goes on the outside, shoots towards the near post, saved down low by Steele, who, after Caicedo was shown a clean pair of heels by Marcus Rashford, made a really good save actually, dropping down to his right and repelling that effort from Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, United worked it really well. Fernandes sliding it out to Rashford, and Caicedo saying you're not coming in and shooting, but he showed too much outside space to him, and Rashford's good enough, a burst of space, and he's created a yard, and still done well guarding his near post.
Yeah, had to, because if Rashford just got a little bit higher, he would have managed to penetrate that goal away to our left-hand side, and United have got another corner kick taken by Fernandes, driven towards the edge of the box, worked to Anthony, left-footed, it goes towards the goal, flipped by Steele and goes behind and away for another corner. Well, I think initially that was a missed kick by Anthony, but the missed kick sort of put Steele off because he was diving to his left, and it meant that he went a little bit early, and then he had to sort of almost readjust mid-flight. As a result of that, he spooned the ball round the post. It's another corner.
I'll tell you what, that was absolutely brilliantly worked by United. It was driven across low towards the edge of the box. Fred's let it go straight through his legs. He knew what was coming behind him, and Anthony's effort nearly guided in by Casemiro or Martial.
Short back from the corner kick. He's in an offside position. It's a little bit sloppy. It's going to be a free kick over on the far side. 59% possession for Brighton so far in the game. 3 shots to United, 6. 2 shots on target for Brighton, 2 shots on target for Manchester United. 1 corner to Manchester United's 5 now. It's been a busy old start to the game here live on Talksport with Now Sports, and don't forget, with Now Sports you can watch and stream all the Sky Sports action for just $11.99, no contract, including tonight's game. Search Now Sports. Here's Rashford on the edge of the area, playing the ball up to Martial, gets the return, it's cleared away by Webster and out towards the far side, and then Ciso grabs hold of it and eventually goes out of play. Pascal Gross is here, not playing tonight because of a knock, but he is a regular scorer against Manchester United, 6 goals in 10 Premier League games. He was on the score sheet when Manchester United were beaten here, and Stuart and I were sitting in these exact seats at the end of last season, and they won 4-0. An unbelievable game.
Yeah, it certainly was. I think from a spectacle this one's far better. We might not have had the goals at the moment, but the tactical intrigue in this game is just brilliant.
Caicedo taking the ball over the halfway line from the right full-back position for Brighton. He helps it on to Buonanotte, who moves up towards the edge of the area, tries to squeeze it between a tight gap. headed away by Dallo. There was no suggestion of handball. It goes back out to the near side, and then it's into Fernandes, who loses possession to Caicedo, brings him down, gives away a free kick in a dangerous area. One of those where he took one for the team there, Fernandes, after initially getting caught on the ball.
Yeah, it certainly looked as though he did, and once again Caicedo getting forward, offering himself as an extra option up front on this right hand side.
Half-time in the game at Huddersfield. Big night for Huddersfield tonight, or could be. Alan Biggs.
Yeah, Huddersfield 0, Sheffield United 0. Huddersfield living very dangerously indeed. Just need a point for survival. They've survived a couple of really big chances wasted by Daniel Jefferson on both occasions, and Sheffield United far on top, chasing shadows for Neil Warnock's team. But he'll be delighted with this. Huddersfield 0, Sheffield United 0.
Yeah, they 1 point to stay up. They play Reading at home on Monday, who are the team that they're vying to stay in the Championship with, and goal difference could be a massive swing, and Adrian Durham will be round the grounds on Monday to bring you the final day of the Championship across Talksport and Talksport 2. Free kick then for Brighton, wide on the right hand side. Buonanotte takes it, the teenager, towards the far post. Webster heads it towards the left wing position because it went a little bit too far, comes back in by Billy Gilmore towards the far side, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick away to our right hand side. This is Talksport, and we played 32 minutes. Billy Gilmore, who was signed by Graham Potter and the team here from Chelsea, hasn't been a regular in the team. He's played a handful of games now, but he struggled to get into this team like he struggled to get into Lewis Dunk's quiz team.
Just looking at Webster there, they're talking about earlier Dunk stepping in. Look, Webster stepped all the way in with Fernandes. Dunk stepped all the way in as well, leaving no central defenders whatsoever in their lineup.
And Manchester United are breaking down the right side. Anthony towards the edge of the area, pokes it into Martial, edge of the box, it floats to the 6-yard area. Rashford trying to keep it alive. He's going to, he gets to the perimeter of the box on the wide left position, turns it round the corner, and it's picked up by Fred. Fred fighting for it, got a little knock, went down. Referee looked at it, and then Rashford tried to win the ball on the edge of the area once again. Evenly matched contest this. It's still 0-0. I'm not sure how. Here's Estepinian, the left back. He was the third furthest player forward on the break. In it goes to Enciso, wide to Buonanotte. Then on the edge of the area, Welbeck is calling for it. He turns, plays it out wide towards the left. Matoma, back to Welbeck, edge of the area, encouraged to shoot, tackled by Casemiro. The ball's turned over, and now Manchester United are going to go at the other end on the attack. They play it forward up to Martial. He couldn't get it under control, and it goes all the way to Jason Steele. And if you'd like to, just for a second, just have a breather.
I'll tell you what, I've watched a lot of football over time, as we both have, Sam, but this, I'm finding this so good. This almost relights your love for the game and just tells you which way the game's going nowadays.
Brilliant. Down towards McAllister for Brighton, who come forward. Right-footed shot towards the far corner. Well, David De Gea can only stand and watch it because it was arcing towards that far post. It didn't quite come back in, but David De Gea didn't know what day it was there. That ball went arcing towards that top corner, and if it had just come in a little bit, there was no stopping it.
Yeah, he's put no curl on it at all. I think he was expecting to. He's give the eyes that he was going to pass it out wide, and then he's just got his toe on it instead of his instep to put some curl on the ball. If he would have got it on target, like you said, it's in the back of the net.
A great shot from behind the goal from the camera, where you could see David De Gea just looking over his shoulder as the ball goes into the crowd behind, and he was mightily relieved, I think. Luke Shaw travels up to halfway. 0-0 the score. We've played 34 and a half breathless minutes on Talksport, a gripping, absorbing encounter live from the South Coast and the Amex Stadium. Anthony does brilliantly to win his header and then chase it down towards the far corner. Picks it up, comes back in field. Wan-Bissaka protects it well. Should he have got a foul there after Matoma seemed to knock him to the floor?
Well, they've got the ball at their feet, so there's no reason to stop the game. United have still got the ball. Why stop the game, I'd say?
Half-time in the Championship, Huddersfield leading a point nil, Sheffield United nil. Massive game that is in the Championship. Big game for Neil Warnock. He really has done a fantastic job to claw them away from the relegation zone. Lindelof, dicing with death, goes in from behind on Matoma. Luckily, he didn't catch the player. And we play on with Brighton in possession away to our left-hand side. The game being played at an incredible speed. And I mean, we've been to some terrific games even this week. I mean, the game on Sunday between Liverpool and Tottenham was bonkers. The game on Monday night, Leicester and Everton, was absolutely outstandingly good. Tuesday night, Arsenal against Chelsea. Well, Arsenal were good and Chelsea were outstandingly bad. Wednesday night, we had Manchester City making sure that their title ambitions were reaffirmed when they beat West Ham, who played very well in the game for the first 45 minutes, and we brought you Liverpool beating Fulham over on Talksport 2. Tonight we're getting terrific entertainment.
This goes beyond that. I think the tactical approach, the intricacies, the movement of the ball.
What is it about the tactical approach that you like so much?
It's just when you see little things like Dunk goes all the way from a centre-half position, goes all the way in, literally 30 yards beyond his midfield to go and press somebody. And then alongside him, Webster does the same, so leaves no centre-half there whatsoever when United are looking to play out from the back, and you think they're so well organised.
Welbeck sends the ball to Enciso, who shoots towards the far corner, but he steers it wide. The ball was played up to Welbeck, a little tuck, even though he was fouled into Enciso, who ran down the right channel and steered the ball towards the far corner across the goalkeeper, but it was 3 yards wide of the goal. He didn't catch it like he caught that one at Stamford Bridge a couple of weeks ago, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick. Is that why Roberto De Zerbi, for example, is being talked about as someone who's going to move on from here to another job, a perceived bigger club, because of those tactical innovations that you pointed out?
I think so. As I say, there's only one reason why centre-halves would come out of their central defensive slots, because they've been well coached and they know exactly what to do. And once they've stepped out, the pair of them have stepped beyond the midfield. The midfield have just rotated and become central defenders. So good.
Someone who's won the World Cup, who's a playmaker at heart, coming back into that sort of position to ensure that those Manchester United runners don't get free. Matoma down the left-hand side, pulls the ball through the 18-yard box. Caicedo gives it to Buonanotte, and then it all goes all the way back to Webster once again. Webster strolls forward. Manchester United back in shape. They had a grip of the game in the early stages. Manchester United might be losing that grip now. Here's Caicedo bending the ball into the box right-footed, away by Martial. Fernandes thinks he was fouled from behind. The referee says play on. He doesn't have anything tonight, the referee. Ball launched high up by Dalot towards Rashford, who's one-on-one with Dunk. Dunk comes across, heads it away, takes it into the right full-back position, and then it goes out and away for a throw-in.
So you've got a big centre-half coming across, dealing with the ball, and it's not just good enough to win the ball back and stop the attack from Rashford. He's looking to play out in his own corner flag almost. He couldn't do it on that occasion, but the ability to want to do that is just amazing.
Casemiro back to Shaw sending it down the left into Fred, then back to Martial inside the area. He shoots at the goalkeeper, who makes a big save. It was straight down his throat though, straight at him from Martial. It's another big chance for Manchester United, and Anthony Martial has fluffed his lines. Played in down the left channel. Fred now tussling with Welbeck on this near side. That's a late challenge from Welbeck. It's getting a little bit spicy. Fred goes in, he kicks out. The referee's got a bit of calming down to do here. Buonanotte goes down onto the floor. It was just getting a little bit out of control there. And we might get our first card of the game. The free kick has been given to Manchester United. Andre Marino has explained to Roberto De Zerbi why he's made that decision. Danny Welbeck is being penalised.
Tell you what, well done Andre Marino. No big repercussions on it. He's looked at it, he's decided that the first foul was committed by an Albion player, and he's pulled it back for that and given the foul. I mean, it could have been, much more historical than that and more excitable, but Andre Marino just quashed all of that.
Historical or hysterical?
I don't know, it's one of the two, I really do.
It could have been both, you never know.
I'm just excited to be here, my friend, you know what I mean?
What a big chance that was for Anthony Martial in the box.
It certainly was brilliant. Well, United have shown that they can cut Brighton open with their counter-attack. I think United are the best counter-attack team in the league. Last year it was Liverpool, it's United now, and tonight they're demonstrating they can counter-attack and cut Brighton open.
what we didn't see come off at Wembley, there were a few glimpses of Manchester United getting away in transition, but not enough of it. They scored more goals from fast breaks than anyone else this season. They loved that. That's playing into their hands. How are they doing that more tonight than they did at Wembley?
Well, I think there's a scenario where Brighton have overcommitted a little bit, and we got a situation there where Webster's way sort of 20 yards in front of Dunk, which is asking them to defend right across the width of the pitch with 3-on-3 on occasion. They're committing players forward. What does that do? It leaves spaces behind on the turnover.
It is more of a dangerous philosophy for Manchester United tonight, though, isn't it? Because they are doing a little bit more in terms of pressing in the other half of the field. Here's Anthony down the left-hand side into Wan-Bissaka inside the box, tries to steer it goalwards, comes off the defender and goes behind and away for a corner.
Yeah, both teams have done their homework on each other, so both teams know that they want to play out from the back, we want to play out, so there is an element of we're going to nullify that, and we think we got good opportunities. Both teams get big numbers forward when they can. The other side of that is on breakdown and on transition. The pace that United have got on the counter-attack and the ability that Brighton have got as well when the ball's out at Matomo's feet is quite outstanding.
Rashford's got a problem on this near touchline. He's getting some attention. There's currently a break in play, so I'll tell you it's Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. Remarkably. And for the latest odds, head to Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Brighton to win at 29-20, Manchester United 19-10. The draw is 2-1. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18+. BeGambleAware.org. This is Talksport, and it's been a terrific first 45 minutes. A wonderful week of football. 25 days of commentaries consecutively. This is day 25. 11 days after these two last met at Wembley. It's a very different game. Manchester United committing more to the press, sometimes getting a little bit sucked in, but they haven't had too much damage over the top this time around. And every time Brighton think they're getting a grip on the game, Manchester United hit back, and they've had the best chances in this first 45 to open the scoring. Ball in towards the near post, away by Welbeck. The delivery was poor from Fernandes, and it's out on the far side and away for a throw-in. He hit it with venom, but there was no loft on it at all, was there?
No, as I say, he's put good pace on it. I wonder, we've not got a good angle here. I wonder whether he's seen a gap sort of, just inside the 6-yard box to whip it inside that defender.
We're basically sitting behind the dugouts here at the Amex Stadium, the 31,800 all-seater stadium. Great venue for football. Here is Buonanotte trying to escape for Brighton. Well won back by a combination of Fred, then Dalot, then Fernandes, then Rashford is on the way because Martial sent him through, and he's running between Caicedo and Estepinian, who does brilliantly to get back and nab the ball for Brighton. Excellent work. Up it goes to McAllister, who overruns it slightly. Casemiro late, very late. Yellow card, swiping the feet away from McAllister. Brazilian on Argentinian. And there was no love lost there, was there? That was a full, meaty challenge from Casemiro, who took everything away from McAllister. He swiped his legs from behind him. And it's a free kick just in front of the centre circle.
Yeah, just looking at the replay on that, and McAllister knew it was coming, make no mistake about that. He's not been caught unawares. He's had a little look and saw the challenge coming in, and I don't think there was ever any doubt he was going to get hurt by it.
1 minute to go before the conclusion of the first half. A little tap by Estepinian, a floated ball by McAllister is hefty. Buonanotte keeps it in. Martial tries to bring it clear. Webster does well. Buonanotte's got it again. Left footed towards the far corner. It's the outside of the post. Or very close to doing so. And David De Gea wasn't too sure where it was going. The free kick was a cute one. It came to McAllister. It was deep. Kept it alive, Buonanotte, really, to be honest with you. The second ball won well by Webster. Back into Buonanotte, who got away from Martial, then left-footed. Oh, it's so close to dipping in at the far post. And it was just narrowly wide in the end.
Yeah, he's put reasonable curl on it, but we've had probably about 3 or 4 efforts at goal that players have, normally the proviso is aim for the post with curl, and you know you're going to be inside the post. They've set it out too wide.
Well, Brighton won their last game 6-0 against Wolves. They were 4-0 up at half-time. It was their biggest Premier League win. And the first time they ever scored 6 in a top division. We could have had 6 goals in the opening 45 minutes here, and we haven't. I mean, I've got Anthony, Mitoma, Fernandes, Anthony, Rashford all written down. Martial's had a good chance as well. It's been a lively first 45 minutes, but the best of those chances have gone the way of the away team. 4 minutes of added time at the end of the first 45. Some brilliant football has been on show here at the Amex Stadium. There has been a real pace and tempo to the game, and certainly incredibly lively at the Amex Stadium this evening. Remember, on Saturday, no midday kickoffs because of the coronation, so we bring you 3 o'clock kickoff on Talksport from Tottenham against Crystal Palace, and Sunday night it's West Ham United against Manchester United, and that game kicks off at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock Sunday night, live on Talksport. Monday night, Nottingham Forest against Southampton. They're our next 3 big Premier League games. The final day of the Championship is on Talksport on Monday from 3 o'clock. They all kick off at 3 o'clock. We'll be on air well before that with Adrian, and it is one hell of a last couple of weeks of the season with European action to come next week as well. Manchester City going to Madrid. Fred shanks the ball out from the midfield position inside his own half towards this near side. It goes out for a throw-in. Gilmour picks it up, plays it into the centre circle. Now Lewis Dunk strides forward, moves into the Manchester United half, gives it straight to Casemiro. It's not a great ball by Martial again. Comes back in Ciso, goes through Casemiro, right-footed, digs it out, but it's way over the top. Got past Casemiro pretty easily though, didn't he? Nifty feet to take it down the left channel. Just jinked past him rather easily. Went up to Casemiro and then went the other way. Worked it back onto his right foot, and then, well, he didn't catch it at all right, and he sort of ballooned it into the stand away to our right, the Manchester United fans. No, whilst I admit there's a lot of movement on the balls, you've at least got to do some work with your feet to make it go in the right direction. And just as he was having a wiggle on the edge of the box and looking to shoot, I looked at Rashford's position, and Rashford was just pulling away into space, waiting for the counter-attack. That's why he's so effective for United, and they miss him so much when he's not available. Do you think he's better suited to that left flank cutting in than he is as a central striker?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think he can run across the line better there. I think he sees play better there. Yeah, and he can cut in on that right foot.
Here it's Buonanotte on the far side, the right, cutting in perpendicular to the edge of the penalty area. It's blocked by Dalot. Free kick given, and McAllister wants to start it quickly, and he's been allowed to. Out to the wide right, Enciso into the penalty area, plays it against Rashford, goes out, it's a corner.
Well, Enciso should have put that in a bit earlier. Clever play there. Good early. It's good to see a quick free kick taken. Everything's normally so contrived this day and age. Quick free kick. He was in behind, and when he had the opportunity to slide it in behind the back line, I think he should have took it.
Here is the corner on the near side to be taken by Buonanotte. Gilmour goes short. Caicedo's on the right angle of the penalty area on the near side. There's Webster and Dunk up from the back here, and Estepinian lurking 5 yards outside the area. The corner kick comes in. It is so high towards the back post. It goes beyond Lewis Dunk and out towards the far corner, and it's wrestled back by Luke Shaw and sent down the right side. And Manchester United looking to try and get a counter-attack away, but McAllister rescues it. Sent back towards Buonanotte. Right side, edge of the area. Welbeck in the box now, being chased by Lindelof. It's back to Buonanotte, who's got Fernandes for company. It's bumped behind by Lindelof as the cross came in low and hard, and out for yet another corner to Brighton, who, again, have just turned up the pressure on Manchester United at the end of the first 45 minutes. A breathless, absorbing contest between these two teams, in which I think the referees, he stopped the play, stopped the corner from being taken too quickly. He wants it taken again after Enciso and Gilmour got things underway a little bit too sharpish. And they'll re-spot it and start again. Gilmour a couple of yards in front of Buonanotte, the teenager, only 18 years of age, who's taken most of the set pieces so far in this game for Roberto De Zerbi's team. Left-footed, much better this time towards Dunk. Good header away by Lindelof, who played well at Aston Villa on Sunday, and the half-time whistle goes. And what a very good first half of football that has been. Manchester United actually have failed to beat City away, Arsenal away, Newcastle away, Tottenham away, Liverpool away, Villa away, Brentford away. But they've certainly turned up in this encounter and made a real match of it against Brighton. It's been terrific. The first 45 minutes have been gripping but it's still 0-0. Well, Brighton are looking to complete the double over Manchester United for the first time. There was nothing between them at Wembley a couple of weeks ago, and there's nothing between them here, but it's been a very different encounter to the one we saw 11 days ago under the arch in the FA Cup semi-final. That time Manchester United prevailed on penalties. Who's going to prevail tonight, Stuart Pearce?
Well, on what I've seen, I think United might just pip them in regard to that turnover of possession. They'd probably look more of a threat slightly on the counter-attack, and I think I would just edge on United, but certainly Brighton have been absolutely fantastic as well.
Kara Matoma picks the ball up for Brighton and darts down the near side, drifts it into the box. It's half cleared, and then it's picked up by Casemiro and worked out towards Fernandes, who gets beyond. Caicedo really committed there and missed the ball, and now there's space in the right full-back position, and it's being attacked by Marcus Rashford. Now into the left wing area, goes into the box, goes to ground under pressure from Dunk, goes down and looks at the referee, who just says goal kick. No, thank you very much. So Brighton have made no changes. Steele is their goalkeeper. Caicedo, Webster, Duncan, Estepinian, Buonanotte, McAllister, and Gilmour in midfield with Matoma on the left-hand side, and Ciso behind Welbeck in attack. Which, time you look at those replays, there wasn't much in that, was there?
That is an understatement, and sooner that the officials and football get rid of this and start looking at things like that. Well, you've seen it straight away. He should have got booked straight away. End of.
You're saying he threw himself to the floor?
Of course he did.
Ball is out on the right-hand side. We'll go through the United line-up in just a second. The blue shirts, white shorts, the blue and white striped shirts, white shorts of Brighton attacking the goal away to our left with Buonanotte, who sends the ball high into the stand away to our left-hand side, the north stand of the Amex Stadium. And there are a couple of tiers on each of the sides, 3 tiers on this side, 2 on the far side and 1 tier at either end. The Manchester United fans locked in at the away end away to our right hand side. 3,000 of them have made the very long journey down to Brighton. I was on the train with a lot of them earlier on today, coming down from Manchester as we snaked down the country, jumped on tubes to get across London and onto the Gatwick Express to fire into Brighton train station. And everyone in good spirits as they look to watch this pivotal match, and certainly it's been well worth attending. We've played just 2 minutes of the second half and it's 0-0. Manchester United with De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Shaw and Dalot. Casemiro's been booked at the heart of the midfield, but it's Anthony, Fernandes, Fred and Rashford, all of them pushing up, trying to win the ball high inside Brighton territory, and Martial leading the line. He's been disappointing for me again, Anthony Martial, over the course of the game. He never really seems to be able to produce the performance that Manchester United want to unlock from him.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you judge from the outside and you think there's just a lack of personality in his football. You know, you'd like to see a little bit more. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say here, Sam. You know, just give us a bit more personality in your body language, if you like.
It's probably one of the only times when we're allowed to say oomph. He needs a bit more oomph, doesn't he, about him?
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. And I've just noticed it just seems to have changed. I don't know whether it's a permanent thing or whether it's just in the action they are. Rashford's down the middle now, Martial on the width.
Caicedo down into the right wing position, gets the ball back, gives it to Buonanotte, and then it's collected by Caicedo again. On the far side, the ball is with Billy Gilmour. Billy Gilmour plays it centrally. It's picked up by McAllister, who tries to scythe through the Manchester United midfield and defence with one straight ball, which is cut out eventually and then pops up into the arms of the goalkeeper David De Gea away to our left-hand side. Anthony Martial not worked really when he's been included recently. His last goal was when he scored against Everton as a substitute. 7 goals this campaign. A lot of them have been as a sub off the bench. He was on loan at Sevilla for the back end of last season. I think they'll probably try to move him on in the summer, depending on where they go with a transfer acquisition. Here is Estepinian delivering across into the penalty area. It's headed away by Luke Shaw, who got back in front of Danny Welbeck. A good header by Luke Shaw as well. Dalot brings it wide towards the right-hand side, and Dunk with an excellent reading nudges the ball out into the stand that we're in on this near side and away for a throw, and it remains 0-0.
Absolutely magnificent cross there from the left back, just whipped it in. the ball was on the outside of me. He thought he's not really got the angle to get anything on this. Just put it in a wonderful area on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Well, when Brighton beat Manchester United 2-1 at Old Trafford earlier in the season, the scoreline did flatter the home team. We were here almost a year ago to the day when Brighton ripped United to shreds 4-0. What performance that was. And Brighton have played with such a progressive, short, sharp passing style, playing through the thirds of the pitch. Only Manchester City average a higher number of short passes over the course of the season. Only Manchester City average more possession of the football than Brighton. And they've had a really good start to this second half here. Down the right they come with Caicedo, who seems to be getting up to join the attack a lot more in this second half. Plays it back towards the centre circle. Dunk strides forward, moves into the middle point of the Manchester United half. Fernandes goes to engage with Webster. Webster plays it back to Dunk. And then Manchester United once again watches Webster and Dunk just dictate the pace of the game. Caicedo gets it back to Webster once more. Goalless after 50 minutes on Talksport. Pumped forward by Dunk, trying to get in behind Wan-Bissaka, whose header away goes straight to Enciso. Enciso trying to build from here, is tussling with Casemiro, has got to be careful, gets into the box, gets it onto his right foot, shoots, it hits Wan-Bissaka and then comes out of the penalty area. Another chance, great feat from Enciso.
Enciso there, just incredible. The ball was stuck to his foot, he's manipulating it brilliantly, he's got himself into the box and he shot just straight down the barrel of the defender.
Casemiro's got to be very, very careful. Yellow card coming here from Adam Webster, who's shouting at Fernandes, who he thinks dived. It's going to be a yellow card for Webster. And there was a foul on Anthony as well, which is going to go unpunished because the foul on Bruno Fernandes preceded it. It was a little bit late from Adam Webster, that. I don't think he'd have too much of a complaint about the yellow card and how much contact there was, but there was certainly some.
No, it's a bookable offence, there is no doubt about that. The other side of that is, Sam, and you don't want to keep on about it, but if you're going to book someone for that, book someone for diving as well. Let's have a little bit of consistency in regard to what we're trying to do and clean the game up a touch, but let's not detract from the fact this is a fantastic spectacle.
Casemiro does need to be a little bit careful because he had a little nibble at Enciso. Enciso was very incisive on the edge of the penalty area, the way he got his feet sorted out to take it away from him, but he was having nibble after nibble after nibble, and I was just thinking careful, because that would have been 3 red cards since the World Cup if he'd got sent off. I don't know how long you get for 3 red cards, but I can imagine it's not a short ban.
It certainly wouldn't be for that. To be fair, that's a whole career's worth near enough for me.
It's amazing, all sorts of records being broken. Trevor Sinclair was telling us last night that Erling Haaland scored more goals this season than he did in his entire career, and you're about to tell us that Casemiro is likely to pick up more red cards this season than you did in your career.
Well, he's only got to get 2 more and he's level with me, so...
Bruno Fernandes is back up and he's playing, and he's on the pitch, and despite the fact that he got treatment, he didn't have to go off and come back on again, which is why the Brighton crowd aren't too happy. It's 0-0, we're live at the Amex Stadium, and there's a little twirl from Anthony which set Manchester United off and running again. Anthony Martial only half committed to getting hold of that, and it was cleared away by Brighton. Wan-Bissaka committed but not able to deal with Billy Gilmour, went through his legs. Wan-Bissaka, he's pushed Gilmour to the floor, bullying the poor kid. It's a free kick, nothing more than that. 1 yellow card apiece, Webster and Casemiro in the referee's notebook, and Andre Mariner, who's in charge tonight. Manchester United supporters are enjoying themselves on the south coast. Oh, that's a short pass by De Gea. Played Casemiro into a bit of trouble. Manages to get it back to the Spaniard, and it's cleared by Wan-Bissaka into Dallo. He's given it away again, and Mitoma takes over, moves down the left side of the penalty area, into the box now, has to square it, doesn't, goes for glory. There were 5 blue and white jerseys in proximity, inside or on the edge of the penalty area, and he decided to go it alone.
Yeah, I was speaking with Aid at half-time, and I just said I hope this game doesn't get decided on a mistake from someone giving it away. I hope someone earns a victory, if you like, and to be honest with you, another occasion there where a cheap giveaway in their final third by a team has ended up with a shot at goal.
Well, look, Brighton have done very well over the course of the season, keeping the team structure the same. They might have moved the formation around a little bit. They may have changed the tactics for certain games, but they've kept the bulk of the team together. They made 4 changes tonight, but that's because they made a huge number of changes after a lethargic performance against Nottingham Forest the week before for that Wolves game, which they won 6-0. But I think only 2 teams have made fewer changes to their starting lineup all season, and they've certainly looked like a unit tonight. Here's Rashford over on the left-hand side, moving towards the midpoint of the Brighton half, exchanges passes with Fernandes, gets his shot away, but it's blocked by Caicedo. Up into the air it goes, and Wan-Bissaka tries to keep it alive. Enciso trying to escape, and he does. Moves up to the halfway line. So Manchester United were on the attack, and now they've got to get back into a defensive shape. Estepinian. Halfway, McAllister. That's slow because of interceptions from Wan-Bissaka. Lovely ball by McAllister out to the far side. Taken on by Caicedo. Into the area, left-footed. It's repelled, comes back to him on the edge of the box. Tries to turn again. Swirls into traffic. Dalot gets it clear. And the ball is with Casemiro deep inside Manchester United territory. He plays it to Fernandes, who's harassed by Caicedo. He then has the ball thundered at him by Dalot. It's out for a throw. You were just looking at Anthony Martial's position?
Yeah, I'm just looking. Brighton broke then. It was literally 5-on-5 on the edge of United's box, and the ball gets turned over on the edge of United's box, and you look up the pitch and it's almost 1v1 on the halfway line. You think, against players with real pace, that is a dangerous game to play. You always like to have that extra number, but it's almost this mentality from Brighton that says we're going to overload the opposition at any cost behind us. We're not worried about it. You're going to have to just deal with it one-on-one.
Is that because they know that their need is probably greater tonight? A point for Manchester United is okay. In fact, it's arguably a good result. Whereas a point for Brighton, probably it's going to make it tough if they're going to try and get into European competition.
That might come into their thinking potentially. We'd only know that behind the scenes. But, you know, for me, I think it's just a tactical approach. They think, look, we're going to overload the opposition further up the pitch in an attempt to get a goal.
Yeah, and they do it pretty often. They did it on Saturday against Wolverhampton Wanderers, where they were terrific. The ball's broken again on halfway, given away by Fernandes, and Mitoma is racing clear. He's now inside the penalty area, down the outside, tries to chip it to the far corner, but he used his right foot. He wasn't comfortable, and he stabbed at it and lifted it towards the far side, and it was patted away and down by David De Gea and cleared away. But another break, and Manchester United haven't really got started at the beginning of this second half.
I'm looking at Wan-Bissaka's body position with Mitoma, and he's almost just said to him, go on, you can go outside, but you're not coming inside, and shown him when you're inside the box there, it's a dangerous game to play.
Here he is again, down the left side, Mitoma into the area, right-footed to the edge of the box, and Welbeck meets it. And it was perfectly set up for Danny Welbeck, but he opened his body and his foot up to try and side-foot it into the corner, and he got it all wrong, and it flew off his boot and behind for a goal kick, and Manchester United have another let-off.
Yeah, it's probably a side of Danny's game that if he improved that goal-scoring ratio, he certainly would be a more effective striker. He's opened his body up with almost the mentality of let's get it over with, rather than I'm going to really score a goal here.
Well, Manchester United had the better of the chances in the first half. Certainly Brighton have had the better of the chances in the second. We nearly played an hour. Oh God, we really nearly played an hour. It's been such an exhilarating football match.
This game is akin to a training ground exercise where it's 4 versus 4 and it swings from one end to the other, and you just keep 4v4 in one side of the pitch, 4v4 in the other, and just it goes from end to end, and that's how the game's got now.
Well, Dalot's just gone wiring in on Buonadate, and that's going to be a yellow card for Diogo Dalot. Manchester United hoping to get to the Champions League. The Opta supercomputer gives them a 95.8% chance of returning to the Champions League, and unlike Brighton, who have Euro rivals to face between now and the end of the season, this is the last fixture that United have got against a rival for a European place. Everton, Arsenal, Newcastle, Southampton, City, Villa, in what could be a thriller on the last day of the season, are Brighton's final fixtures. 5 of those remaining 7 are against teams above them currently in the table. It's going to be some end of the season, and we're following Brighton actually a couple of times. We're going to that Newcastle game in a couple of weeks, and we'll be here on the 24th of May for that big game against Manchester City, which is probably going to be pivotal for both. Wan-Bissaka all the way back to David De Gea, being closed down by Mitoma. Dalot, he's got the ball stuck under his feet and he's being rushed by Buonanotte. Managed to get away with it on that occasion, but he didn't look comfortable at all. He looked frightened, didn't he, as that ball came back to him. And actually, if Buonanotte got back to his feet after his little whack from Diogo Dalot after their duel, when the ball was turned over just a moment ago, he actually would have been in a decent position.
He really got in a pickle with his feet there in the box. Well, I'm not sure what Buonanotte is fit on. He's got a little bit of a rogue hand somewhere.
He's only little. 18 years, 129 days. He might need a little bit of protection in the hurly-burly of the Premier League. Solly March, is that getting ready down in front of us to get his instructions to come on? The man who missed the key penalty in the FA Cup semi-final, about to get on the pitch and try and influence proceedings. Maybe it's written in the stars that he comes off the bench and has a major impact on this game. We've played the hour, and it is Talksport live at the Amex Stadium. It's Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Manchester United 0. And don't forget that you can watch all the Sky Sports action, stream it live with Now Sports for just $11.99, no contract. Search Now Sports, including Brighton against Manchester United tonight. And we've got live action for you Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday from all sorts of different competitions in Europe and from domestic action too, as the end of the season really revs up. Manchester United going into within a point of Newcastle with a point here. Brighton staying in 8th, but a point behind Aston Villa with 2 games in hand on them and Tottenham and Liverpool. Here's the substitution, Buonanotte coming off, and on comes Solly March.
March had a good season so far, and I was expecting him to be in the starting lineup this evening when they come to the game.
Yeah, 8 goals since Christmas for Solly March. And he goes out over on the far side into that right wing position, that familiar position that we've seen him play over the course of the season. He really has had his best campaign, I think, in a Brighton jersey, certainly at the top level. Has made a real impact, obviously had a huge impact in helping get them to this level. Wan-Bissaka immediately rushed by Mitoma as the ball was played out to him by David De Gea. A flick on by Anthony Martial. Anthony goes chasing after it, gets to the edge of the area, and then Jason Steele hesitates, waits, and then plays it out from the middle of the park. Everyone inside the stadium of a blue persuasion had a little heart-in-mouth moment, but not Jason Steele or Alexis McAllister, who casually just continued. Here is Estepinian on to Billy Gilmour, who stumbled slightly and then got back to his feet, stumbled again. Fred takes it away. Gilmour brings him down. Free kick inside the centre circle. Casemiro is pointing out to Andre Mariner that in previous examples of that sort of cynicism, a yellow card has been brandished. Why is there not one here?
Yeah, I think he's got a reasonable case there for a yellow card, potentially.
Manchester United did come into the game in good form. They've won 24 of the last 34 games since the World Cup. That's why they have almost cemented their position in the top 4. Here is Wan-Bissaka linking with Anthony down the right side, back to Anthony once again, immediately surrounded by blue and white striped jerseys, and Wan-Bissaka has to juggle with it, flick it into the air, and then eventually, and there's a foul on Mitoma. A free kick has been given to Brighton away to our right hand side, and Erik ten Hag now not happy. He's having a few words with Andre Mariner, who's just waved away his protests. What has the newly described LBG got to do to try and turn the tide of this game, because Brighton is seemingly getting a grip of it?
Well, they are with territory, there's no doubt about that, but the counter-attack threat has not come as often, and maybe it's that energy to turn the ball over and get it forward quickly is just diminished slightly from United.
Yeah, if you weren't with us earlier before kick-off, Adrian Durham revealed on the Game Day podcast, as Alex Crook has now affectionately named him, Erik ten Hag is called the little ball genius. Here is Billy Gilmore over to the right-hand side. Webster into the centre, little turn by Alexis McAllister. He's got away from Casemiro, he's brought him down. Oh dear, play on, says the referee. Right-footed shot over the top of the crossbar, and is there going to be a problem here for Casemiro? Well, the Brighton fans think there should be. It was a foul, there's no doubt about it. Referee played the advantage to allow them to continue. The Brighton players are surrounding the referee and asking for a yellow card here. It was played into the midfield position. McAllister did well to hold him off initially, and then he brought him down from behind, the wrong side. Stuart, what's your verdict? Well,
I'm going to play devil's advocate here and turn around and say, you play the advantage. What is the advantage? Whenever any of our players got fouled on the edge of the box, I said the advantage for us is stop play and give me a free kick. The advantage there would have been sending Casemiro off, and personally he should have got booked for that.
Well, I said it in the first half, he's got to be very careful. He's got no wiggle room now. Corner comes in towards the near post, headed away by Martial, thundered clear by Fred, and it's up towards halfway, but there's no out ball for Manchester United. It comes back via Moises Caicedo towards Solly March on the right hand side. He looks to combine with Enciso. Manchester United bring it clear. Fred has it far side, travels up towards the halfway line, bounces into Caicedo, it goes away for a throw in to Brighton. You get the feeling that he's going to have to do something, Erik ten Hag, because it's one-way traffic at the moment, and that's one way towards the Manchester United goal. Mitoma taking on Wan-Bissaka, getting into the area, beating two players, going down under pressure from Anthony and Wan-Bissaka. Andre Mariner was on the scene and refuses to give a penalty. Well, it looked like a sandwich, and the Brighton player was in the middle of it, Kaoru Mitoma. The referee says no, play on, and Fred gallops up the other end. Manchester United now on the attack. Caicedo robs him of the ball, turns it over once again. And now it's with Billy Gilmore, still Kaoru Mitoma. I don't know if he's down injured or he's just absolutely perplexed as to why he hasn't got a penalty, but he's up and moving again, throwing his arms in the air. Well, he's got a thesis. He wrote his thesis for his sports science degree in dribbling, and certainly you could see the product of all that study there, couldn't you, as he weaved his way in from the left-hand side. Yeah, there is no doubt that he can certainly dribble. He is a handful and a half going into the box, and the slightest touch, he's going to ground. Ball down the left-hand side into Fernandes, inside the area for Manchester United. Left-footed shot, saved by Steele towards his left-hand side, pushes the ball wide of the goal, and then Rashford goes down under pressure in the corner, and the referee doesn't give a foul for that either. Play on. Here is Estepinian away up towards the halfway line. Erik ten Hag is asking the question again. I think this is a product of players diving and getting away with it and knowing they can get away with it all the time.
So they've only got themselves to blame.
No, I'm not suggesting that wasn't a foul or contact of any description. We've just seen it again. The players know that and throw themselves on the floor, and there's no sort of jeopardy to it anymore. Well, he's been told to get up, Anthony, after doing just the same. And then idiotically, he's gone over and he's just kicked McAllister. Now there's a bit of a chest pump going on between Dunk and Anthony, not advisable. Fred gets in the way of it and drags him away. Most of the players, apart from Casemiro, who's not stupid, again involved in the situation. Casemiro just walked away as if to say, it's nothing to do with me, honest. And the referee's got a bit of sorting out to do. Sam, there's been about 4 or 5 incidents. If you have been really critical and you're a referee, you could have booked players for diving. The referee's not done that, and this is the sum total of it. So do you think it's the referee's fault for not taking action earlier? I think it's the authorities' fault for not backing the referees and empowering the referees and supporting the referees as an overhaul scenario, not just tonight looking at a referee and saying it's his fault for not booking diving, because they get hung out to dry on a regular basis, the referees. I think the authorities have got to come down strong on this and start looking back at each situation and saying, sorry, unacceptable, 3-game ban. The problem was Anthony didn't get the free kick that he wanted. He was furious about it, and then he just decided to go. He did just go and decide to kick Alexis McAllister. basically is a red card on another day. He's just run over, and you know there was premeditation on it.
So he's kicked McAllister, and then he's gone and pushed Dunk. So actually, he could have been booked twice there, couldn't he?
In all honesty, I've seen players get a red for the first one. But the scenario is, Sam, as you know, players spraying themselves on the floor, and it just gets more and more heated.
Well, it's still 0-0, and we have got 11 men each on the pitch at this moment in time. We'll see if that continues. The ball is out on the far side, the right. We wouldn't want to spoil the game now after what has been a thriller of encounter, but it is slipping away from Manchester United. It does feel like that with 20 minutes to go. And Brighton, who have been fitter, sharper, crisper in this second half than Manchester United, have just lost the ball to Casemiro. Up it goes to Martial. Didn't turn quick enough. The run by Rashford on the far side was immediate and purposeful, but he wasn't found. Fred has got it now. He does find Rashford out on the far side, being backed up by Dalot. He skates up towards the edge of the area, cuts in on his right foot, stops and goes back away again because he's got blue shirts in front of him. Turns the ball infield to Shaw, and then Shaw exchanges passes with Dalot, who comes back across the pitch and gives the ball away. And Casemiro has to dive in with a tackle to stop Kaoru Matoma from breaking away again. Fernandes into Fred, round the corner for Martial, wasn't paying attention. Into the arms of Jason Steele.
It's almost an impossible game to call, I think. You know, it's who's got the most energy left in the tank, who hasn't.
But we're so lucky, aren't we, sitting here where we are, 10 rows back from the edge of the technical area. Roberto De Zerbi's been calmed down by his assistant. Chris Kavanagh, the fourth official, he's getting an absolute mouthful from Roberto De Zerbi. He's had a few from Erik ten Hag as well. Here is Solly March moving up to the edge of the box. Into the area he goes, looking for Welbeck. Is that Undav who's just been called back by Roberto De Zerbi to come on as a substitute? Here is Enciso, challenged by Casemiro. Careful. It's once again another one where he could have been in trouble. The ball worked up towards the middle of the opposition half, and then it comes back again because Manchester United didn't take care of the ball. Wan-Bissaka forward. Now Fernandes. Rashford has gone through the middle and Martial's peeled out to the left. He's got it now, Martial. Left side, into the area, goes past Webster, pulls it back through a 6-yard box, blocked by Caicedo. It's out for a corner.
Really, listen, the game is just swinging from end to end. Both teams are demonstrating they've not got the killer edge at the moment tonight, and it's just waiting for somebody just to grab the ball by the horns and put the ball in the back of the net, and you're thinking that one goal will decide it at this stage.
Undav about to come on, and Levi Colwell is coming on too for Brighton and Hove Albion, who are defending a set piece away to our right hand side. A corner kick that Manchester United are going to curl in from the right boot of Bruno Fernandes. He addressed the ball once, stopped, and now he's going to address it again. He's going to play it short to Shaw, gets it back again, sends it to Rashford, who's 25 yards from goal. Right-footed shot, which cannons into the air off Welbeck, and he gets it back again. Sends it wide. Fernandes a yard in from the touchline. Down the left for Rashford. Rashford being chased by Solly March, gets knocked to the floor by Solly March, gets back up again because he felt he should have had more protection. Fernandes sends it towards the far post. Lindelof is there, comes back out towards Casemiro, who turned and fired back towards goal. And I tell you what, it actually wasn't that far away, bearing in mind it looked like a wild swipe. He did brilliantly to get his body wrapped around and get that close to the target.
Well, he did. Anthony was coming in to unload one, potentially with his left foot, but Casemiro got there first. As you say, the body shape was really good, just couldn't keep it down. And he's not the first tonight, is he, not to get an effort on target?
And that's been the problem of the game so far, that the chances that have come both teams' way just haven't ended up on target. You're listening to Talksport. We played 74 minutes now, and it's still 0-0. Remarkably 0-0 on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7. Search Car Finance 24/7 today. Alan Brazil back on breakfast tomorrow with Ray Parlour to pour over this and all of the weekend's footballing action. Right-footed shot from Enciso from the edge of the area, goes wide of the right hand upright, and he's had a couple of sighters tonight. He's another youngster, Enciso, who's announced himself in recent weeks the Diamond of Paraguay, they call him. 2 goals and 2 assists in his last 5 games.
The expected goals this evening, Sam, will be up around 30, I think, for the half chances we've had.
Manchester United going to make a couple of changes as well. Jadon Sancho and Sabitzer coming off. On Welbeck and Gilmour coming off for Colwell and Undav. Does that mean a change in formation for Brighton?
Interesting to see, actually. Looks as though Webster's slid to right back by the looks of things. I'm not sure they've gone to a 5.
I think is it Caicedo just moved into midfield, hasn't he? So yes. Webster, I think, has gone to, well, I was going to say, actually I think they might have gone to a 3 at the back. Let's just watch it, because Doug's just wandered into midfield.
Yeah, if they've gone to a 3, then it's Solly March right wing back, Matoma left wing back, and then balance off accordingly. So
someone's got to go into midfield though, because Colwell, Webster and Dunk 3 centre-halves, and then there's Estepinian who would be the spare part. So it will be interesting to see how they balance that out. We'll keep an eye on it. Sabitzer is on for Fred. Jadon Sancho is on for Anthony. I made them into one person there, which I don't think they will be too happy with. But Jadon Sancho is on. Ball given away edge of the area by Manchester United, and Cisso's got it again once more, taking it wide towards the left-hand side, travels into the box, takes on Casemiro, right-footed, bit high over the top of everyone, that goes behind and away for a goal kick away to our left.
Yeah, as I say, the only thing this game's missing really is clinical finishing. As I say, both teams have created good half chances, good shooting chances, but the lack of working the goalkeeper on a regular basis has been there evident to see. I think more so Webster's dropping into a right back position. As I say, he's quite comfortable in that area of the pitch, so
it'll be interesting to see what happens with Sabitzer, who's got hold of the ball now. He's trying to get away from Levi Colwell, who just sort of dragged him to the floor, and it's a yellow card. He's only been on the pitch a couple of seconds and he's already picked up a yellow card, Levi Colwell.
Yeah, really poor there. He looked way off the pace, to be fair. He stepped in to the midfield area, got done, and then from that moment onwards it was a booking waiting to happen.
Does look like a narrow back 4, and then you've got March and Matoma on the wings here for Brighton. The free kick is going to be given to Manchester United. Marcus Rashford, I would say usually he's surely not going to hit it from this sort of range, but the way he's placing the ball down gives me indication that he might. Luke Shaw and Bruno Fernandes are standing there as well. And we will go off to the game in the Championship in just a second and find out whether or not Huddersfield are safe for another season in the second tier of English football. Chris Kavanagh and Eric Ten Hag are having a heated conversation. Rashford strikes the ball towards the middle of the goal. He did go straight through the wall. It bounces once and will go off into the evening at the John Smiths and Alan Biggs.
Huddersfield are safe, and he's done it again. Huddersfield 1, Sheffield United 0. Another wonder of Neil Warnock's world to add to 8 promotions and previous relegation escapes. Reading are down as a result. Huddersfield rode their luck in the opening half. Sheffield United missed chances, but the half-time talk was the turnaround. The Terriers tore into it, and Danny Ward's 25-yarder was a fitting and deserved match winner. Huddersfield saved. Huddersfield 1, Sheffield United 0.
Danny Ward's first goal since March, only his 5th goal of the season, is a crucial one for Huddersfield. The relegation picture sorted in the Championship with Reading going down and Huddersfield staying up courtesy of that victory tonight against Sheffield United. Napoli have won the Serie A title for the first time since Maradona's day with a draw against Udinese tonight, so they are title winners. And here it's still Brighton 0, Manchester United 0 with 79 minutes on the clock, and Manchester United have just won a free kick just 5 yards in front of the centre circle. Fernandes immediately tries to distribute it to Rashford, doesn't quite get on the end of it. The offside flag was up anyway, almost got hold of it. Jason still came rashing out, didn't quite get contact with the ball. It almost fell to the England man, but the offside flag was out because he just went a little bit early.
Yeah, he did. Top quality decision, I've got to say, there by the officials, and still was sharp off his line just to deal with that.
He certainly was. Finally poised here at the Amex Stadium between Brighton and Manchester United, live on Talksport. Matoma had the best chance in the first half when he hit the ball straight It's David De Gea for Brighton, Rashford, Anthony, Martial have all gone close since then for Manchester United. United know that a victory would take them above Newcastle. Brighton, well, they know that they could put pressure on the teams above them, Aston Villa and Tottenham in particular, if they manage to get all 3 points. Super League game tonight, is there?
There is a Super League game on, and Hull are still in front against Wigan. But actually, the reason you've asked that is because I was on my iPad, and I'm on my iPad because I want to know a little bit more about Colwell.
Right. Well, I was actually asking because I know you're a massive fan of Super League, and Hull and Wigan. Are your allegiances up to Hull and Wigan anywhere?
Tony Smith, good friend of mine, the Hull coach, but certainly Wigan are level points with Warrington, my team, so I want them beaten tonight if possible, so double whammy.
I'm delighted to say that today you turned up in normal clothes and not a Wigan Warriors top or a West Ham United top.
You know what I'm like with a freebie, my friend.
Wigan, did I say Wigan Warriors? I meant Warrington Wolves, didn't I? Sorry, alright, okay, rugby league geek behind me. Hull KR fan, Adrian Durham. Sorry, did I cause you more grief there? Don't hit me, it's not fair. I can't respond, I've got a microphone in my hand. Ball is on the halfway line with Estepinian down the left hand side, played into Matoma, who slips and falls over, and then it's picked up by David De Gea in front of the goal away to our left hand side, and eventually they'll clear it away. This is Talksport. 59% possession for Brighton, Manchester United 41, 15 shots each, 5 for Manchester United on target, 3 on target for Brighton. And Rashford trying to get through the middle of the park. Levi Colwell comes and tries to claim, just about gets hold of the ball and clears it away. Played for Huddersfield last season in the Championship. Levi Colwell on loan from Chelsea, product of their academy. Actually scored an own goal in the game at Wembley. Here is March trying to get into the penalty area, tackled by Lindelof, comes back on the edge of the box. Webster plays it intelligently around the corner, and then a slip as he tried to strike from Undav, and then it comes off Shaw and goes behind and away for a corner with 8 minutes to go.
I'm just looking at the stats, and I think both teams have almost got, efforts at goal somewhere in the upper teens, which is incredible when you consider, what are we, 15-15?
15-15. Unbelievable, isn't it?
Well, it certainly is when you consider the scoreline's 0-0.
Corner. Might not be 0-0 by the time we finish in 8 minutes' time. Corners who come in for Brighton, and Alexis McAllister will take it. Up goes Dunk, so did Webster. The ball breaks loose inside the 18-yard box. It's cleared away by Bruno Fernandes, but there wasn't any escape route, and they come back with Matoma down the left side. Oh, he had loads of space on the outside, tried to come in, Phil played it against Wan-Bissaka. It's blocked and goes behind and away for a corner.
Yeah, the longer the game's gone on, the more Matoma gets you off your seat and then plonks you back down on it with disappointment, doesn't he, you know? He's a real handful. I think Wan-Bissaka certainly maybe lost on points in the first half, but he's on top of the job at the moment in the second.
Joint top scorer in the Brighton team this season, Kaoru Matoma, the Japanese international who was excellent at the World Cup. The corner kick's going to be taken on the near side by Solly March, left-footed. It's a high one towards the far post, dealt with by Dalot, headed out to the far side and collected by Alexis McAllister. Wout Weghorst about to come on for Manchester United. Webster keeps it alive. Undav trying to get the better of Lindelof, who goes down. Free kick given to Manchester United. They'll make a change here. Anthony Martial? Yeah, for Weghorst. That's the change.
What are your thoughts on Weghorst for next year if you were United? Would you just let him go back? Obviously he's contracted at Burnley, isn't he? So
well, it's interesting because there isn't much clarity about how much money Erik ten Hag is going to have in the summer. He admitted that he was in the dark because of the ownership saga, leaving everyone in limbo. To me, it looks as if they're going to try and sign a striker. Harry Kane seems to be the priority, but he's not the only one they're looking at, and that's not going to be an easy deal to do with Daniel Levy. There's no suggestion that Weghorst is the answer. I think that's clearly apparent. But I don't know whether or not Erik ten Hag will feel as if he's a good weapon to have in the arsenal in situations where you might need someone, for example, because there'll be a lot of games next season.
Yeah, and he strikes me as a really good professional.
He loves being at Man United.
Yeah, well, It's either that or Burnley, isn't it, really, at the moment? So the bottom line is, I think you're exactly right in what you're saying, you know.
Here's Fernandes into the centre. It's half cleared. Someone you would think they should sign just to keep around?
Well, I think to have a big one on the bench is a really good thing, especially the way the game's gone, the size of the benches this day and age. I really do.
Yeah, well, the size of the benches are big enough to actually house him, which is also good, because he is tall, lean and slender, but he's very, very, very big, and he actually works his socks off for the cause as well. He's brilliant leading the press from the front. Fernandes, who was fouled from behind by Caicedo, referee says play on. It's on to the edge of the penalty area towards Sabitzer from the right side, where it was kept in by Casemiro, but now the break is on for Brighton and they race over halfway, and it's Solly March at speed running diagonally from right into the centre, gets onto his left foot, takes on Shaw, skips past him, shoots towards the far corner. It's only narrowly wide. He thought that was the moment. He thought it was the moment he would lay the ghost of Wembley. He jinked past the Manchester United defence. He picked it up inside his own half. He scampered forward. He ran diagonally to the edge of the box, was engaged once, went past the first man, Casemiro, then past Shaw, got it onto his left foot, drove it back across the face of goal, and it wasn't too far wide.
You've almost got a situation which has happened many times in this game, that the players have almost done, the set-up work's been that good, they've done all the hard work and then failed to hit the target.
Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. The latest odds are available at Ladbrokes, 4-1 for Brighton to go on and win the game. Manchester United 6-1 to go on and win the game. The draw is 11-4 on. It's all thanks to Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com, 18+, begambleaware.org. Caicedo, Undav, is there a late winner in this game? Undav goes for the return down the right side from Enciso, and it's cleared away by David De Gea. We're in the 87th minute of the match. This intriguing match between these two European hopefuls. Manchester United almost certain of a place in the top four. Their goal difference is very good. Their position in the table pretty solid. This will give them a 5-point gap to Liverpool and a game in hand. A 10-point gap back to Spurs in 6th, and a game in hand over them as well. They've still got a game in hand on Arsenal as well. Not that they're likely to catch them. They're 14 points behind. Top four seems to be grabbable for Manchester United, especially with the fixtures that they've got still to come. They've got West Ham away on Sunday live on Talksport, Wolverhampton Wanderers, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Fulham, Manchester City in the cup final to finish their season. By then we'll know whether or not they're playing Champions League football next year, which surely they will. Weghorst chases the ball down towards the edge of the area. Dunk gets it back to his goalkeeper. Weghorst continues to chase. Sancho presses with Dunk on the near side. They play out beautifully. Brighton, who come up over the halfway line now, picked up by Estepinian, who runs forward, feeds the ball into the box. It's too far for Undav, just a little bit too heavy from the Ecuadorian, who's produced 6 assists in 2023 alone, and with a little bit more of a delicate touch in that moment might have provided another.
You can see why they've hit a team for 6 recently, Brighton. You know, they've just been a fraction off tonight, and well, both teams have it in front of goal.
I think probably over the 90, Manchester United have probably just lost out a little bit. Brighton have just shaded it, I think. It hasn't finished yet. Webster slides it forward, cut out by Shaw, just tucked out to the near side, taking no chances. It goes out for a throw-in. They want to get it moving quickly, Brighton. They do that. Estepinian into Enciso. Sancho comes across on this near side. Caicedo plays around Fernandes. It's through the legs of Casemiro. Enciso looking for Undav. Shaw tries to bring it clear. Thinks he should have got a foul. Eventually does get one. And it's going to be a free kick 10 yards in front of the 18-yard box. And it's going to be a free kick to Manchester United, who are probably going to run down the clock now, bearing in mind that there is just a minute of normal time to play. Jason Steele's been given the man of the match, I think maybe for his first half display rather than his second. He did make one really good save in the second half, but most of his work was done in the first 45 minutes. Roberto De Zerbi looking a little bit pensive. How will he be feeling tonight?
I think coming out of this game, he'll be disappointed they've not taken all 3 points, but I think he'll be absolutely delighted with the way his team have played and set up. It's been just as both teams have come out with so much credit.
Matoma sweeping clear. Brighton determined to try and finish the job off here. 5 minutes of added time are going to be added here as March gets into the area. Oh, it's opened up in front of him. He's still going and he wandered too far. Comes back to McAllister. Great save by David De Gea. It came from a crowd of players. He had to react, and David De Gea displaying he has still got all his faculties. He read that beautifully. March wandered into the 18-yard box, cut in on his left foot, ran down a blind alley. It broke to McAllister. Undav opened his legs, it went through them, and David De Gea was alert enough to stop it. What a chance, Stuart.
Brilliant effort. I thought March was going to be the one to break the deadlock at one stage, but he sort of run aground with ideas, if you like, and when it burst to McAllister, his effort was magnificent and an equally good save on that occasion.
March with the corner in towards Webster over the bar. Big header from a big player, but couldn't control it and keep it down and get it under the crossbar. Good delivery once again from the set piece from Solly March. It's going to be a free kick away, a goal kick away to our left-hand side. If you're just joining us, Huddersfield are safe in the Championship. Fantastic effort from Neil Warnock, who's kept them up. Reading have been relegated as a result of that. Elsewhere, Napoli have won the Serie A title. Here it's 0-0. Hull FC have beaten Wigan Warriors by 14 points to 0. Stuart Pearce can proudly wear his Warrington Wolves tracksuit.
I will be tomorrow. I'm going up to watch a game against Wakey.
And big Hull FC fan Adrian Durham is cheering behind me.
He's a floating fan, actually, a feel-good factor fan.
Yeah, I know a few of those, by the way. Talksport, 92 minutes on the clock, 0-0 as it was in the FA Cup semi-final. In stoppage time, there's no extra time and penalties this time around to settle the encounter. It either will or will not be settled in the next 3 minutes. Live on Talksport. A draw probably suits Manchester United better than it does Brighton. Brighton, though, are about to surpass their club record of 52 points in a top-flight season set during a 42-game campaign in 1981-82. That's how good this season has been, and there's still fixtures to come and plenty of them. They have scored 11 goals in the final 15 minutes of games, Brighton. They are kings of the late goal. Can they come up with another one before the conclusion here? Here's Caicedo in the centre circle. March picks it up. Moves it forward. It's picked up by Estepinian, who's going to let rip here. Left-footed in towards the near post. Saved down low by David De Gea.
Yeah, I think it's one of those games, no matter what happens, the deadlock will not be broken this evening. And I've got to commend both sets of players. The only downside, players going to ground a bit cheaply. Apart from that, I don't want to sour the taste on the night. This has been a magnificent game.
It has been a gripping affair. Manchester United now will have won only one of their last 14 Premier League away games against the teams starting the day in the top half of the Premier League table. What does that say?
Well, I think United can go toe-to-toe with anybody, if I'm being honest with you. It's just they've got to find that level of consistency on the road, maybe, Sam.
Undav trying to turn past Lindelof, and Ciso tries to get past Shaw, who knocks him over, and there's a little bit of afters between the two. Andre Mariner's given the free kick, actually, and Alexis McAllister immediately looks over and says, I'll have a piece of this, thank you very much. Is that a foul?
No. And Ciso will infuriate the life out of you. He's impressed me tonight with his football, but he's certainly going to ground very, very cheaply, and ask Luke Shaw whether he touched him or not.
Well, the free kick has been given. It is 12 yards outside the area, so this is 30 yards from goal. David De Gea will probably think he shouldn't be beaten from here. I don't think Solly March or Alexis McAllister are thinking of trying to shoot on sight, which means it probably favours a March delivery towards the far edge of the penalty area, arcing it left-footed, an outswinger for someone to attack. Colwell, Webster, Dunk are up from the back. It is Solly March who drifts it towards that far post, and the header is from Weghorst. It goes behind and away for a corner.
Yeah, I think they were caught in two minds there. It was a little bit straight for a cross, a little bit too deep for a strike at goal.
Goes out towards the far side then for the corner. Maybe the last action of the game. We're into the final minute of added time at the end of the 90 on Talksport. Loads of chances, no goals. 0-0. A point apiece in the offing. Here on Talksport, with Manchester United staying in the top four and Brighton still looking on at the European places if it stays this way, but they've got games in hand. The corner arced in towards the penalty spot, up towards Dunk, headed away as far as Matoma. He's got to hit it. He does hit it towards the far corner. It hits someone and gone out towards the far side. Back into the 6-yard box, comes through to Caicedo, punched away by David De Gea. It's a massive save. It's an absolutely gigantic save from the Spanish goalkeeper, who reacted to the effort from Caicedo and somehow has managed to steer it away from the Manchester United goal.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know whether he's blown up, I don't know exactly what's gone on here. I've never seen so much happen in such a short space of time. There was a shout from the crowd for a handball, and then there was a cross shot, then there was a brilliant save. Incredible.
Well, there was a hand inside the penalty area, and there's a handball check going on as a result of that. Was it Luke Shaw's hand that went up in the air and touched it with his fingers? I think he did, but if he was being pushed from the back, it might change. Andre Mariner is walking over towards the near side. I think he's going to check the monitor here. He is. There could be late drama. Now, you might remember a couple of seasons ago, Manchester United won a game here with a penalty because of a handball given by VAR after the final whistle. Now in stoppage time, well over the 5 minutes that should have been allotted, Brighton are going to get a penalty.
Yeah, and rightly so. As I say, I knew that so much went on there. The crowd nearer the incident certainly all went up en masse. Luke Shaw's took it straight off a dunk.
Penalty given. 96 minutes and 27 seconds into the game. It's a penalty for Brighton and Hove Albion. Remember, they lost out on a place in the cup final on penalties to Manchester United just 11 days ago. Now they've scored all 6 penalties in regulation time. Surely they're not going to give it to Solly March. McAllister has taken them in the Premier League so far this season, and he's 5 from 5. He's the regular taker.
Well, all I can say at this stage is the way things have been going in this game, it won't be scored.
Well, the Manchester United fans are biting their nails to the quick. The United players are trying to delay the taking of the spot kick. McAllister's stayed out of the way. He's going to make sure that he doesn't end up getting pressurised any further than he needs to, but it's taken a long time. It's already taken a minute since the referee gave the penalty after looking at the VAR. We're in the 98th minute of the game now. McAllister is going to place the ball down. The Brighton fans trying to suck it into the net. This could be huge. He has a powerful, precision-like delivery. He goes through his process, takes 4 steps back, moves towards the edge of the penalty area. He's going to arc his run up. It's against De Gea, who didn't get near any of the penalties in the shootout at Wembley between the two. McAllister is an expert, a World Cup winner, a chance to give Brighton all 3 points for the 3rd time in a row against Manchester United. There's a hush around the Amex Stadium as he waits, gulps, runs up, right footed, slams it in. You can hear in the background is the roar of 30,000 seagulls planning a European tour, because Brighton's dream of setting sail for Europe for the first time are very much alive. A 99th minute penalty from Alexis McAllister will give Brighton all 3 points at the Amex. Great drama from the Premier League. Brighton 1, Manchester United 0.
Well, I've got to say, in this second half there's been an absolute blue tide that have taken the game to United, and as you rightly say, they're the team that looks as though they've been chasing the result and needed the result that little bit more, and it's probably no less than they deserve. What an incredible night's football we've had here.
Luke Shaw's handball spotted by VAR. Andy Madley in the booth in Stockley Park has changed the tide, and it's changed the table as well, because Brighton will be going up into 6th position as a result of what is a fabulous victory for them. A brilliant game. The celebrations amongst the coaching staff tell their own story. Roberto De Zerbi's calm, no one else in his battalion is, and the whole team celebrate away to our right hand side, knowing that that could be a crucial 3 points. Champions League, well, no one's having a laugh now. If Brighton win their game in hand over Manchester United and Newcastle, they'll be 8 points behind them with 5 to play. They face Newcastle live on Talksport on May the 18th, and all of a sudden there's just a glint of a possibility. Brighton will surely now be playing European football of some sort next season, and they are elbowing their way up the table, playing catch up on fixtures and taking no prisoners. United again fail on the road at someone half decent. It's been the tale of their tape over the course of the season. A brilliant game finishes Brighton 1, Manchester United 0.